What was it like being a vegan in the military, if you were at that particular time?
Oh my gosh. It was difficult. Like, I was so used to just not eating. Like, even to this day, it's prepared me for the road. Crackers and water. And he said, I just never been as close to one of y'all. We was like, hey, what do you mean? And he just said it.
He's like, we never been in the same classroom or what?
He just said it. He was like, niggas. And we was like, I'm dead
Wait,
serious.
he said A's or ERs?
I don't remember if he said it with the hard R or A, but he doesn't know what he just did.
Trayvon Fulton.
What's up,
in
baby?
the mix, bro.
Yeah, no
Army
doubt.
vet, vegan,
Yeah,
and now hilarious comedian, bro. You
Yeah.
got quite the stat sheet, man.
I'm trying to be like you out here, my boy.
Good
that's
to see you,
a black
dude.
man compliment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
What?
it is.
That you're trying to be like me? That's a black man compliment?
Yeah, like, I'm saying, boy, if I had your hand, I'd turn mine in, boy. You ain't never heard that before?
No.
Yeah, but how should I sit? You know what I'm saying? You need me because
Get
you're
right
facing
here, bro.
me.
Yeah, bro. You face
facing
a
me.
little bit, face the camera a little bit, face
Like right
me.
here?
Yeah, dude. But
Okay,
lean back,
all right, cool.
you're
Yeah,
good, man.
look comfortable. Like.
You and I met, I guess now.
What was it,
like
going
3
on
years
3 years
ago?
ago.
And that was one of the first shows I did back from, I guess, the world closing down.
Really? Yeah.
Remember that? That was like 2020, like July or
I remember
August?
exact specifically. It was
Yeah.
July 16th, 2021. I remember that date. Like it was, I vividly remember that day. So
Well, on that show, also you were a pretty big deal on that show. Like you were I think. Okay, so the show was called like you had to
weeding out the stone.
Yeah. So weeding out the stone. You had to figure out, the crowd had to figure out who was not high on that particular show.
Yeah.
And
Who
there were
was the sober
20
one?
comics. I was one of the stone comics, and you were one of the sober comics,
the
bro.
sober one,
the
yeah.
sober vegan.
The sober one.
Which, bro, people see that as pretty intimidating. Just so
what,
you,
a sober vegan?
right?
I didn't know that.
Well, but if you tell somebody that are you sober or no?
I am.
So if you would tell somebody that you were sober vegan, I think that they would get a little intimidated. Like anytime I'm not drinking and there's like a group of us drinking, people are like, what? Like Ted Jones, you're not drinking tonight? And I'm like, I'm staying sober. And they're like, oh, and you're vegan? So it's like both swords, bro.
They be
double-edged
like,
swords.
people ask like, so what do you do for fun? A lot of things. You know what? Usually when people find out I was in the military for so long, they go, oh, okay. All right. They usually leave me alone after that.
Right, because they know that you got a disciplined mindset, and it's not like it was built out of nowhere.
They be like,
theoretically.
wait, so you never drunk? I'm like, my first duty station was Germany. I definitely drunk.
How old were you at that time?
Like 20 years old, dog. 19, 20 years old.
What was the decision to go from? Where'd you grow up? Was it Virginia?
Yeah, Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah. I think I
this is
vaguely
not
remember
sickness.
that.
This is just
New
coldness
York,
from
bro.
Yeah,
All good,
yeah.
dude. I got really sick like 2.5 weeks ago, so I'm good. I feel like that's my that was my shot. My flu shot was me just getting super sick. I don't think I'm ever gonna skip a flu shot again, but that's a story for next year. We'll see if that happens. So how did you did you go to a recruiting office out of high school? How did that look?
Yeah, I did. Right after high school, I went to a recruiting station in Richmond. And I mean, the story, because everybody asks, this the story, you know what I'm saying? My boy, so my friends have been the same friends since forever.
That's good.
That's Trail, that's Nico, and that's my sister Jasmine, all grown up, like still to this day, since I was like 10 years old, same friends, right? So Trail went first. Trail was, and back then, light skin, real long hair, we got all the girls. So Trail, we in the room, and
Is that Luttrell?
Nah, it's Trail. Like it's Don Trail.
Oh, damn.
But we call him Trail.
Was that racist? I just said that.
No, I
that
mean
was clear,
I
right?
understand. I understand like why you would think La Trail, like Trail. It'd be different if you was like Daquan. Hey, relax, relax, Ted. That'd be different.
Like Trail. I'm like, oh, you mean Daquan?
Yeah,
No, I didn't mean that.
That
That's
would
what I'm
be
talking about.
that would be very racist, but that's within context, So Trail got long hair, and we sitting in my room, and he just took scissors and he just cut his hair, and I'm like, yo, what you doing, bro? We not finna get no more girls. So like, I gotta do it, bro. But then he went and he would like write me from basic training and let me know what it was like or whatever. And that's my man's, like, for real.
So he went a little bit before you did,
Yeah.
before he turned 20?
Yeah, well, he went, Trail went, was he 19? Because I went when I was 19. That's when I went, and I was in training.
But you had both just gotten out of high school.
Trail graduated the year before me.
Oh, okay. All right.
He graduated in 2009. I graduated in 2010. And so when he was there, he had took the fall off of college. And then when he left, I was like, oh, man, we ain't finna get no girls. I'm like, well, my mans did it. You know what I'm saying? I might as well go do it too. And, you know, now, so I'm out. Trail's still in. Trail is, he just became a warrant officer, which is chief, which is a big deal. And now flying pilots and stuff like that. So shout out to Trail, man. Trail,
He's flying planes like by himself?
Yeah, well, like he planes and stuff like of soldiers and stuff like that, you know, or he might be in there by himself. I ain't really get too much into the specifics of it, you know. I just let him, you know, do his thing. Like,
yeah,
I since I know the deal, he'll share what he can share, what he can't share, whatever. Right. So you know what I'm saying. But Chief Warrant Officer Johnson, you know what I'm saying. So this is the only time I'm official. Ever gonna salute you, there, Trail. Yeah, this is the only time. You got right hand. There you go. Yeah, gotcha. yeah. That's the only time because. That's my boy, and like when he outranked me, he like, hey, you know, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go do comedy, dude. I'm gonna loosen up, dude. One of us needs to loosen up.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't care if you outrank me.
When you met with the recruiting officer, was there a specific job that you wanted to do in the military, or you were kind of like, all right, let's go?
I just wanted to get in, get out.
What was the first job you had, and where were you stationed?
The first job I had, I was a 92 Alpha automated logistical specialist, which is logistics. It's like a big warehouse for the Army. Guns to toilet paper got to come through us. And I was working a motor pool. Like my last role, I was like the assistant motor pool sergeant. Working a motor pool, you can work in aviation, you work in a warehouse, you can work with weapons and explosives, and you know, you do all of that. And Germany was one of my first places.
But before you got there, how hard was the process to get into the Army?
It's a little challenge. Well, I was young and I was in good shape, so it wasn't really. I ain't had much, like, you know, the record and tattoos and nothing like that. So the process was fairly easy.
Well, why would it be difficult if you had tattoos and like maybe a battered past?
Well, you got clearances. You know, you got to get like, you know, secret clearances or whatever, like in different places that you're gonna go. Like this is the United States government essentially. Yeah, we're like, oh, it's the military, but this is do we defend the United States? You know what I'm saying? So they have to know everything. Like I almost didn't get in one time because like I never did drugs or whatever, and you got to do a strenuous process of questions, and they bring up stuff like, you know, like tell me about your 7th grade science teacher with Nico, and I'm like, how the hell?
So they'll dig into your past. You'll give them like, all right, you can call all these people, and they'll hopefully speak good about me.
I didn't. Well,
are you not allowed to talk so much about this? Is that what we're being hesitant?
It's some things I'm trying to figure out what to say and what not to say. Right. It's not like it's necessarily a secret, but it's like it will open up a rabbit hole of going into stuff that I don't really,
that you probably can't go into.
Yeah, or care to explain.
So I had Travis Eskridge, my boy.
Shout out Travis.
This is this guy who would go to the gym like every single morning at 5 a.m. and we became close. Like there was a 3-year period when that's when I was going to the gym, and he came on the pod, and I was asking him like just many questions. He was in the military for 13 years, so I was asking him the laundry list of things, and like a good amount of things he's like, I can't really discuss. Yeah. So definitely understand that, and that's what you guys have to understand too. We're trying to keep the U.S. safe, but before the process of boot camp, you had, I'm sure like a few month process before they even allowed you in boot camp. Is that how it was?
Yeah. So well, look, they'll tell you, this is why I almost didn't get in, right? So they asked about drugs. I'm like, I never did drugs. And then they asked like later at the end, you got to do one final sweep or whatever, right? They're like, did you ever do drugs?
They make you do all the drugs at once?
Yeah, well, no, not sweep like that. And they asked me, and I smoked weed before, but like, you know, like we never looked at weed as a drug. It was just weed. So you're like, you ever did any illegal drugs? And they ask you a different way. This time they were like, have you ever smoked weed? I'm like, yeah, once. He was like, fail, get out of here. He closed it. He's like, you're fucking a liar. And he slid the paperwork off. He was like, I can't fucking stand you. You're a fucking liar. You in here for the, and I was like, whoa. And
how long were you into the process at that particular point?
I was like a kid. It was like the all day process. Well, like not all day. I didn't like, this is months. I didn't did my test. I didn't do all that stuff. Like this was, September 24th, 2010 is when I
your dates guy. I love it.
Yeah, a certain memory.
Well, it's also a big date, but yeah.
September 24th, 2010, I raised my hand, and that was the day. So, and I started the process like right before I got out of high school, and I graduated high school in May of 2010, and then I left in January 26, 2011.
Me too. I graduated then.
Hey, bam.
Nice. So right around Jersey Shore times. But yeah, go ahead.
So out of all of this long time and this process of getting my clearances or whatever, like I had a little record, a juvenile record. So I did. I had a little, you know what I'm saying? I was a different guy back then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
is that maybe what gave you the hunch to, well, it was obviously Trail that brought you to the Army.
Yeah.
But still,
Trail.
you kind of probably had that in the back of your mind. You're like, all right, Trail's going. I also wasn't the greatest kid. Maybe those are straight.
Yeah, I mean, they told me Trail was a great kid, but they told me they can expunge my record. I had a little juvenile.
What'd you do?
Past,
was it like stealing gum from the deli?
Nah, it was like a lot of fighting
in school,
outside of school.
But a lot of kids, I feel like, get in fights like that. But I guess some of them don't get sent to juvenile.
Yeah, some of them don't. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, and okay. I mean, and people see that. They be like, oh, I don't see that from you. I be like, good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should not. You know, I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my 30s now. So.
And you also had a lot of military experience.
Yeah. So, like, now I don't want to fight. Truthfully, too, like, the more I've learned, I'm like, dang, I ain't know nothing. So I learned all this stuff. And then I'm like, that means there's people out here who know this. And so it's like, I'd rather not, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
know what?
Like different things. Is Muay Thai, is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah,
like they teach you.
Fight.
Yeah, they teach you like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. It's called combatives. When you get into the military, they call it combatives, but it's essentially Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And they teach you that, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so like, and it's people teaching us that. And it's like, man, so I had to learn like, yo, there's people who actually know this.
Yeah. So I interrupted you. The guy threw your paperwork, and then at that particular time, you're like, "Oh shit! All these months of work, nothing."
And I was like, "I didn't lie. What are you like? You just said you didn't do. You said you doing drugs." I was like,
"I didn't inhale."
Yeah. I'm like, drugs, weed. Is weed a drug? And they're like, "Are you fucking stupid?" I was like, "I don't think so." Like, I'm a kid, and it's like grown man. Like, "Are you fucking stupid? You got weed?" And I'm like, "It was weed." And they was like, "Come on, man. Like, look at them." And I was like, first I'm like, "What does that mean?" They was like, "Hey, man, you smoke weed before?" I was like, "Yeah." "All right, man. You do anything else?" I'm like, "No." I'm 18 still. I'm like, "No, why would I do anything else?" You know what I'm saying? I'm not, thinking like, because where I come from, like, did regular drugs, like weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no cocaine at growing up. There was, crack, but like that was like the bottom of the totem pole. Like if you was on, I don't know kids who was on crack though. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was on crack, you would.
Kids whose parents maybe were.
Yeah, I know that. So
yeah.
and we would. Well, some people would talk about them, but other people that was like their reality. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but that was the drug, crack, and we was like, I don't do drugs. You know what I'm saying? So. The whole just say no campaign.
He was like, "Did you do crack?"
I was like, nah, bro. Like I seen what that has done. So just a little weed.
So you were still in the office though when this guy threw everything on the table.
We was in this dark vault. Him and I.
Just you two?
Just us two. And he's just sitting there and he's going through the stuff. He's like, "So what about this? And then what about this?" And he's making me like. You ever seen the movie Minister Society? No. And they're like they're in the they were talking about robbing a bank or something like that, right? And he didn't do it. He was like, "So what happened?" So you were there. I was there at 7:15. He was like, "Okay, so you were definitely there at 8:15." 8:15. All right. So at 9:15 is when you got there. He's like, he's nervous. He's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, 9. Yeah, that sounds about right." He was like, "You fucked up, right? You fucked up, right?" And it's like a dark interrogation room. That's what it felt like for me. Hey, you fucked up, right? And it's just this dark room with this one dim lit light.
Was this like the last hurdle before you became an?
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah,
yeah, and it was funny. That was.
So you'd say that was like after the first time that you went in and you decided that you wanted to be in the Army, was that like now you were going to go to boot camp after this?
Yeah. So I swear in, and I had to wait a few months to go.
So you went back home?
Yeah, I was just at home with my mama, chilling, and you can't get in trouble. They were like, "Yo, don't get in trouble, don't get hurt."
Do they tell you not to play sports?
They tell you try not to. But I hurt my wrist playing basketball, and I was like, I lied.
During that time frame?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I had to like do push-ups like on my hands like this. Oh my gosh. But they're like right there in front of you. They're like down on the ground.
Yelling
in your
you.
face, watching you do push-ups. And my final one to get in, and it was like, what the fuck is that, Private? And I was like, push-ups, Drizzo? That ain't no fucking push-ups, Private. Put your fucking hand. He slammed my hand down. And I was like, I was like, where's my mama?
How long was? Go ahead.
And I had to sit there and push. I had to push through. It hurt like hell, but
how long? How long is boot camp?
10 weeks.
10? I thought it was shorter.
Nah, 10 weeks.
Do you think every person would benefit from going through a week of Hell Week?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Build that character.
Oh man, like even still, like my thing. So you do that. You do basic training or boot camp, and then after that you do your job training, and then you go to your job. Like your first, like Army and Marines, like they teach us like basic combat survivals. Like your first job is like a soldier or Marine to kill. That's your first job. I don't give a doggone what your job is, logistics. Like your first job is to take care of business. You know what I'm talking about? So, and then you do your job. And even when we learn our job, we still do the things to like make sure we're still efficient and proficient in doing our jobs. So when people start to get like stressed in situations that aren't stressful, I'm like, is anybody dying? And I'm just like oddly calm in situations. And like, I notice people that they be frantic. I'm like, okay, stop. So you do this, you do that. What I'm going to do is like, even last night I was helping the headliner selling merch, and they were so frantic at the table, and she changing sizes. So I was like, okay, stop, ma'am, stop. My apologies. Stop. I still remember 7 shirts. I still remember. Okay, 3 larges, 2 extra larges, 2 smalls, 2 stickers. That's what you want. Each shirt, $20. And she was like, yes.
So I was like, focus on the task at hand.
Yeah. And
Blinders.
I started talking to her. I was like, stop. My apologies. This is what you want. And it was like, at this point, it was Sergeant Fulton. It wasn't comedian Trayvon Fulton. And it kicks in sometimes.
Because I'm sure you become a great people manager, especially when you see all these people running around without their heads.
You in charge of being in charge of like 30 people at once. And all different personalities. And they come to you.
What was it like being a vegan in the military, if you were at that particular time?
Oh my gosh. It was difficult. It was so sometimes I just wouldn't eat. I just wouldn't even eat. Like I was so used to just not eating. Like even to this day, it's prepared me for the road. Crackers and water. If you look in that bag right there, I got food in that bag.
Big bag.
I do. I got
like
food.
Fruit?
No,
like packaged nuts.
Like cooked food. I cooked the food. And then I had oatmeal for breakfast in a bowl, in a travel bowl. I put it in a travel bowl, water. I got plastic spoons and forks. It's like mushrooms, rice, mushrooms, onions, peppers, and tofu.
Regular
and put it all
kind of
together.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
But in the military, I don't imagine you'd be able to have your own food around. Wouldn't you just eat the stuff that they served you?
So yes, and so we have this thing called MREs, meals ready to eat. It comes in like a package. All you gotta do is basically just add water.
So it's preparing you for being in war.
Yeah.
It's just like an easy way to pull it out of your back pocket.
Yeah, and they have like vegetarian ones. And at the time, what I would do was I would just eat the vegetarian ones.
Are you saying vegetarian ones or wands?
Ones, like ONE.
Okay,
like,
because it sounded Chinese. Like the vegetarian wands.
I'm still from, I'm from Philly, but I'm still from Virginia. Like my whole adult life has been in Philly, but like my kid, like,
well, because you still say John too. That's very Philly.
I do. I mean, because I mean,
podcast John.
Yeah, the podcast John. I said that too. I was like, yeah. Like this still like I was got
the
this,
T John.
The T. I'm like, because I said this. Yeah, I'm at the John across the street. And you was like, yeah. So I mean, it's a Philly thing,
But did you get a lot of criticism from the people around you, and people were ahead of you? Like, oh, you think you're too good, Fulton, for our food?
No, I mean, I was
because you can eat the vegetarian food, so it's fine.
No, I was in NC. I was one of the people in charge. So like,
even right away though.
What? No. I mean, by the time I was vegan, I was like Sergeant Fulton and stuff. So like,
how old were you at that time?
How old was I at the time? Like, I was still in
When
my
you were in
20s.
charge.
Still in my 20s.
Like 26, 27?
Yeah, around that. Yeah, exactly. Actually, around that time.
What made you go vegan?
So I saw this documentary called What the Health.
What do you mean you started it? Oh, you watched it?
I watched the documentary. When I saw
that's crazy. That was kind of like my thing too.
I tore both of my ACLs, both of them, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything.
Oh, you skiing?
Yeah, nah. I was in the military. Yeah, I tore both of them when I was in the military.
Doing what? Drills?
Stuff.
Right. Like jumping off the building and out of the plane.
Stuff. You know.
Yeah, that's me saying.
You know, one I was running, and another one I jumped out of a vehicle, and that's
So it wasn't at the same time?
No, I told both of them at different times. Dog.
Oh, because you were probably overcompensating on one.
Yeah, man. And so
that'll happen.
what I did was, I watched the documentary, and then I was like, okay. So I started studying, and I was like, okay, I don't want them cutting. I'm a pretty holistic type of guy. So I was like, all right, boom. So I'm gonna just do this, and so I cut out all the meat. And because I saw it on the movie, people was like, yo, we stopped eating meat and now we can walk again. And I was like, let me see. I'm willing to try. And lo and behold, it starts strengthening. And like, because I was getting pushed around on a little stroller john, and I was really like getting pushed around. And like 3 weeks to a month, like I started like being able to like really walk, like getting all of that meat out of my system, bro.
So you didn't get surgery? Because I'm sure the people around you were suggesting it, right?
Yes.
How did the people who were in charge allow you to wait that long without getting surgery and stay in the military?
So the first one, right? I was overseas. Overseas meaning like Middle East overseas, right? So
not Germany. Okay.
Yeah, not Germany specifically. So, and that's good you said Germany, because when I first tore it, I had to go to. There was like, in order for me to get an MRI, they would have to fly me to Germany.
How old were you at that time?
26.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, they would have to fly me to Germany, and then I would have to get the MRI there. Because they didn't have the MRI where I was. So I got to fly to Germany to get an MRI.
Are you allowed to say where you were? Or no? Whatever, Middle East.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Somewhere over there.
Yeah.
It's a big place.
Yeah. So I would have to fly to Germany. Then after fly to Germany, I would have to also get the MRI, and then I would have to get the surgery there. So I would have to wait. And like, I know what it takes. So I'm just like, you know what? Not doing that.
You were just gonna be posted up in a hospital bed in Germany for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, weeks.
Well, I don't know. Wouldn't they send you back to the Middle East or no?
Yeah, well, no. Because I what I'm gonna do?
Would they send you back to Philly?
They would probably send me back home. Yeah, they probably would have sent me back to my unit.
Theoretically, would have done the surgery on one of them, on one of the ACLs.
Well, there was the first one. It was this one. The left one was first.
And then you thought in your mind they were going to do the surgery and then send you home.
Or it just could have just been horrible. They would have did the surgery and I would have just been waiting and waiting and waiting. We call
in
it a
Germany
holdover.
in the bed.
We call it a holdover. Like you're just sitting there, you get hurt, and people be at these places for like years. They were like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm a medical holdover." That's what they call it.
And the government, the army pays for that whole John.
Yeah, no, John.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a huge benefit of being in the army. They pay for obviously all your medical bills while you're in it.
But like, do I want to be sitting there for 2 years and not being able to do nothing?
So that's what you were thinking, because you had heard stories before of people being on medical holdover for an insane amount of time.
I've seen.
So you're like, I need to figure out how
I personally know them. I had
how to get
soldiers.
better.
Yeah. So I just did it, and what happened was they gave me we call it a profile. A profile means is like you can't do anything. Like I can't run. So what I would do, I can only run upon mission capable. So like when we do a PT test, you gotta do push-ups, sit-ups, and run 2 miles. So what mine was, I had to ride a bike for 6.2 miles and had to do it in 24 minutes.
A stationary bike?
Yeah, but it's weighted. It's
What's
weighted.
Oh, it's like the pedals are a little bit weighted.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you think
You have to be like at level 3 the whole time or something?
yeah, if it's on a regular bike, it's like level 6.
Yeah.
But the other one they have is like sand on it, weighted on it and stuff like that. And you think that you would rather just be on the bike. Like, oh, I ride the bike for 24 minutes. No, you'd rather just run and get it over with. Because that 6.2 miles, it's very easy to fail. I did not fail it, but I almost did.
Yeah.
It's very easy. You on that joint like she's a maniac. maniac.
You were on the bike, and then this was during the time where you were supposed to maybe get surgery in Germany. You were on the bike with a torn ACL.
Yeah, like my knee was super fat, and I was like on crutches. And the command that I was under, we could like kind of like slip under the radar. So it's easy to slip under the radar.
Was there a lot of you? Like there were a lot of people in the command, or
it was a lot of people in the command, but like I was somewhere else. Like the command was stationed. Let's say the main command, like the main company, was stationed in Chelsea, and it was like 60 of us. Like it was like 212 people in a company, and like 60 of us is in Brooklyn, and the other however many that's going to be out of that 212 is in Chelsea.
Okay,
so that's why it was easy to kind of slip under the radar. So it's like, look, what happens here stays here. We gonna make it do what it do, and yeah. So
because they were just focusing mainly on the full command and not maybe individual people themselves.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. It just was just easy to slip under the radar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying it's easy to slip under the radar.
So you went vegan.
I went vegan. Cured my ACLs. Like that stuff is real. It is real. Like, man, I stopped eating meat, you know what I'm talking about? And like I was able to walk and stuff. Now I still had to do certain things. Like I would like walk backwards on the treadmill. Cause like for every 10 steps backwards, it equals to 100 steps forward. That's what they say. It's harder. I start strengthening the ligaments around my knee. I start strengthening my
During the process you were in physical therapy.
Kind of like listen, I did all of this on my own. Like I can run, I can jump, I can bend, I can do all of this stuff. I can go hoop right now. I ain't trying to sound like that guy, but like I did.
Bro, you are that guy, man.
Yeah, I appreciate I'm him. You know what I'm saying? But I did, man.
Have you still not gotten an MRI on that all these years later?
I did get an MRI once. I got an MRI on mine. That's how I knew it was torn. So 1.5 out of 4. So out of a scale of 4, it's 1.5 tear out of 4. So it wasn't like super horrible to the point that like you need to repair this now. But it was like, you should get surgery. And I was like, okay, well, can I get it without surgery? They was like, it would be a really challenging life for you. And I was like, I'm up for the challenge.
Classic story of not listening to the doctor, which happens all the time.
Because doctors don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, they can't feel it.
Yeah.
Going vegan and sleeping, I'm sure were the two things that helped you the most. Were you still on the same sleeping schedule during this process?
When I was vegan? I think so.
Yeah, well, did your command allow you to get more rest? Like, what was the sleeping schedule like being in the Army?
I mean, it was regular. You wake up, you do PT, go eat breakfast, go to work, and come home.
Did they have sporadic nights where you just be woken up 5 or 10 times, or does that really only happen in boot camp?
In boot camp that happens, and then in regular, it depends on what you're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm like deployed, yes, I might be waking up from something happening. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm just like chilling, it's just like a day of work. You know, a part of our job is to get up and work out at like 6 or maybe 7 in the morning. You know, and yeah.
How many different places were you stationed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So were you at each place for like a year, 7, like a year?
All right. So what happens is your first year, you
for you, that was when you were 20 or 21.
Yeah, your first year is on Army. They just, you're at the beck and call of them. They send you wherever, and sometimes it's 3 years, but you do like your first year, and then you can like PCS and say where you want to go from there.
What does that mean?
PCS, my bad. PCS. I don't know what the acronym stands for. Basically,
pick, choose shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Pick and choose
pick
shit.
and choose shit. You know what I'm talking about? You can just
There you
pick
go.
and choose shit.
Army,
And
if
then,
you didn't have that before, you can use it now.
yeah,
Go ahead.
you know what I'm saying? And then you can go and decide where you want to go from there. And you can do your time there. You can, but you're just at the beck and call of the Army.
How often were you able to go home?
Like holidays.
So out of 52 weeks, how many weeks were you home and not working?
Home, or like just like off?
Maybe off, yeah.
Yeah, about
4 to 6 weeks.
not 6, but like 4. About 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You about, yeah. It's like essentially 30 days. You get 30 days, and once you get to like 31 days, that's like don't give me a line. Like 31 days. That's when it's like considered something else or whatever. So about 30 days.
Since you joined about 12 years ago, do you think the mindset of people joining now is different than it was?
It's very different.
Why is that?
Different. I mean, when I was looking at, like, I looked at this video on YouTube, right? And they were like they're not allowed to yell at them. And I was like, really?
The people who are in charge are not allowed to yell?
Yeah.
That's like the thing. When you think about Army, that's the thing you think about.
Not allowed to yell at them, not allowed to hit them. None of that happened with it. I mean, they say it's not supposed to happen, but it definitely happened. I heard that now, like I remember when I was still in, and I was, gonna we call it beat your face, doing push-ups, beat your face. So I'm like, go ahead, and beat your face there, private. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, you got it. And he was like, well, Sarn, the reg says, if you make me get down, you got to get down with me. And I was like, is that what it says? And
bro, I would have thrown that kid in the ocean. Be like, all right, swim to shore, bro.
Well, and that's what I was like, well, that's cool. I max out my push-ups. So I do 80 straight. So I'll get down with you, but you're going to have to do more than me. And if I do more than you, we got a problem. He was like, you know what, Sarn? I'm like, oh, no. What happened? What happened? I got to get down. No, Sarn, it's cool. It's cool. Oh, now it's cool. So
what's the usage of phones like? I mean, I'm sure that's also dramatically changed too since you joined.
I don't know. I mean, it really is all like once you kind of get done like basic training and AIT training. AIT training is your job, like advanced individual training. That's what it stands for. So once you get done, I'm sharing so much stuff.
Good stuff, right? Are you making me cut any of this? Or are we good? I feel like we're good.
It's good.
Pretty
Ted
baseline.
Ted is finna like, you finna talk to somebody now and be like, yo, what's your MOS?
Yeah, be like, yo, you got that PCS yet?
Yeah. Hey, but hey, who you been talking to?
Pick and choose shit. Yeah, pick
and choose shit. Like you be like, yeah, I knew a 92 Alpha automated logistical specialist. You can be like,
oh, good.
Who did you know?
Private?
Yeah.
The Trail.
Yeah. Trail, yeah, because everybody know Trail. Chief Warrant Officer Johnson or Chief Johnson.
I'm sure there are a lot of Johnsons in the Army too. You guys won't know who we're talking about.
There are quite a few Johnsons.
Last name.
Quite a few times. I'm never saluting Trail. Like I hate him so much. Like that's like
what circumstance would you actually have to salute him?
I'm out now.
Well, yeah, but if there was a reunion, you'd probably have to, right?
No, hell no.
No. There's no Army reunions.
You like what? Me and Trail, we weren't in the like in the same unit. We had different jobs, so we weren't around each other.
So you weren't like sent to the same locations.
Nah.
You were sent.
Different places.
I can imagine that a lot of people that start in the Army together would never spend time together, right? Like you wouldn't go into the Army with your boy and then you'd be maybe 10 years down the road, you'd coincidentally be in the same command, right? But you wouldn't spend like training and then this job with them and this side, right?
At one point, they had the buddy system, and you go in with your buddy, and you go to training, you go to AIT training, you go to the same duty station, y'all.
What do you mean at one point? Like that during training? That's when you...
No, at one point, like when the Army was going, like at one point in life, you can do that, the buddy system. But they stopped doing that. They don't have the buddy system anymore.
Do you think there's a reason for that?
I do. I do.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that.
I mean, you come in, if you come in with somebody
Yeah.
and like this is your friend for like 20 years and like, you know, before y'all get to the military and it's your friend and y'all come in together, it's kind of stifling because the whole thing of it is teamwork. So like, and to work with someone else from a different background, that's the whole goal. And then if your buddy who you really came up with dies, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to get over that. Like you lost a battle buddy, but like you lost your
boy. Yeah.
Yeah. If something was to happen, God forbid, and like me and Trail were in the buddy system, that wouldn't just be a battle. That would be my dog. Like my man. I'd be messed up from that. So, I believe that's probably why they stopped it.
You're talking about being friendly or I guess becoming super tight with people from different backgrounds. Do you see that a lot in the military?
Yeah, it happened.
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
I got chills just now because that that happens in movies all the time, and you see it. You're like, does that really happen? But you watch Forrest Gump.
I know, like legit racist. Like they are like one time it was a. Yeah, he was like, we're in training. Like, yeah, I've never been this close to one of y'all. We was like, what do you mean? One of you?
I'm sure he didn't say it like that.
I've
never been this close to one of y'all. Yeah, but right, in a deep Southern accent. I'm sorry, you said
from
Alaska,
Kansas. And he said, I just never been this close to one of y'all. We was like, hey, what do you mean? And he just said it.
He's like, we never been in the same classroom or what?
He just said it. He was like, niggas. And we was like, I'm dead
Wait,
serious.
he said A's or ERs?
I don't remember if he said it with the hard R or A, but he just said it, bro. And we was like, whoa. And I said, hey, y'all, hold on, y'all. Hold on. He doesn't know what he just did. And I was like,
was it like at the cafeteria with like
nah,
you
it was
and your
in
boys?
The bay. It was in the bay where we live at. Like what
does a bay mean?
A bay, I don't know what it means.
Because I thought you were talking about like you guys were swimming and shit.
Nah,
I've never seen you guys
the living
swimming.
quarters, like where we all lived. The barracks.
Okay.
We were in the barracks and we were just chilling. It was like on a Sunday. We was chilling. We was all talking. He was like, "Yeah, man, I love you guys, man. I've never been this close to one of y'all." And I was like, now when you say you all,
you made him elaborate.
Yeah, because I'm like, hey, my man.
You're like 26-year-olds or
no, I was 19.
No, I know, but that's what he was thinking.
Yeah. And he just said it, the N-word just said it, boom. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, y'all, hold on, wait. He doesn't know. And I was like, don't know.
What do you mean he doesn't know though? Why'd you give him the benefit of the doubt?
All right, so I'm gonna break it down. He is from Kansas and he's never seen a black person ever. He's only seen it on television. And he was like, y'all say it on television and music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And not only has he never seen, like, he was like, me and my boy, he was like, y'all can never come visit me. He was like, you will not make it down my street. And so that's a real thing. Like there's you ever heard of sundown towns? You never heard of sundown towns? All right, so like a sundown town is where it's like basically illegal for where you to be if you're black.
When the sun
goes down. Anything that happens.
It's illegal? Or like in the town is so small that they've got a guy in charge saying, hey, do not come down here.
Is this more so like if something happens to you within that time frame, it's kind of like a blind eye gets turned to it. Like, not too long ago, they just made it illegal for you to lynch black people. Now, it's a real thing. That was still, they not too long ago made it illegal to do that. And you want to know what's wild?
That's pretty wild.
You want to know what's wild? What's even more wild? There were people who voted against the law.
Like KKK members or just...
they were people on like Congress and stuff like that. They voted against it, dog. Yeah. So, all right. So boom. My man's, his grandfather is a founding member of the Klan where he's from. And his father would work with him too. And he'd never seen a black person ever in his life. And I'm like, your family either
so you thought they were like doing a good job?
Yeah, I was like, either they're doing really good at their job or they have the easiest job. One of the two.
Probably the latter, the easiest job.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think they're just really good.
Did you know what the town in Kansas was? It just a town of like 1,000 people?
I don't remember.
It must have been an extraordinarily small town.
Probably so. Yeah. Well, it's Kansas. I've been in Kentucky before. I didn't add that on my list or whatever. But anyway, I've been in Kentucky.
What do you mean list?
Like I was counting.
Oh, is that
like,
8?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
I understand. So I've
you
been.
figured that you were in each place for a year?
Yeah. Sometimes I was there for shorter. Like I would do certain things, and I would just be there for a short period of time, and then leave. Yeah. So, but
Sundown Town.
yeah, but man, he was like, hey, so found a member of the Klan, his family was, and so he's never seen it, and he's writing back to his family like, yo, we in basic training. He writing back to his family, hey man, I met these great black guys. You're gonna love them.
You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, and he was like, hey,
This is when you were in Virginia, sorry?
Nah, I was I was in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and
Okay.
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And so I'm sitting there. I ain't even count that. So I'm whatever. I stopped counting. So I'm in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. So we there, and then we go, and he's like writing back. He was like, "You're gonna love these niggas," and I was like, "Yo, my man." I don't know if he said that for real. I could just only imagine that that's probably what he was. Because if he said it to me, I know he not holding it back for his family. Like, yo,
He's probably juicing it up.
you know what I'm talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Years,
You're gonna love them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they do push-ups like nobody's business. And they run, and we all had to shower with each other. And he was like, dude. He was like, he was just like, oh my
There
gosh.
are a lot of Johnsons in the military.
Yo, and so man, when we met his family, dog.
So he was writing letters back to them, or like,
Yeah, and we met his family. His grandfather didn't really want to.
was that like family day in the Army? They have that?
Nah, that's when when we graduate. When you graduate basic training, your family comes a day early. Friends and family day, and y'all come.
So
Y'all
that was basic training.
Yeah, basic training. And so he's like, his grandfather didn't really care to shake our hand. The father really didn't, but the mom was so happy that he had this newfound like light.
And it was like 2015 or something.
Yeah, it was 2011.
2011, sorry.
And he passed away, and his mom found my boy, one of my close homeboys.
Wait, this kid who was
and
he was the same age as you. Sorry, I keep it around.
About the same age, yeah. Okay. And so, to my understanding, she messaged him, was like, "Yo, my son passed away, yada yada yada."
In combat?
I don't know. And so he passed away, but I'm so appreciative of you and the other guy. He loved y'all. He always talked about y'all, and I'm so glad that my son left this earth with no malice in his heart and no hatred in my heart. So thank y'all. And so stuff like that makes me think like, all right, okay, like
There's hope.
Yeah, and I mean, still, like I know, like I remember specifically where I was when Trump won the election, and I was getting ready to deploy. So it was like, all the black people was like, fuck, this is finna be bad. You know, like it was finna be bad. And
So
like,
it was 2016, and what was
when I was deploying? It was
that's when Trump got
November 2016. I remember.
Oh my gosh, dude! Today's January 6th, by the way. It's not a great day. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I remember it was like we was out in the field, and it was like a tent full of like this. They were white, and literally, like, I don't know how they found out, because we ain't really had no technology out when we were.
You just
and
heard
they was
them
like,
in the distance.
Yo, they was like Trump, and we had one white guy in our platoon, and we was in a tent, and we all looked at. He was like, I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
He went to the other tent.
I don't know. We said that. We was like, he went to the other tent. He went to the other tent. But he was probably like, whew, guys, I'm trying to keep these guys.
Did you feel like that divided any parts of the platoon or parts of the army or
parts of the army? Yeah, it did. I don't think it divided our.
Was Trump pretty pro-military though? I mean, he must have been, but I'm sure that there's so many politics about it.
Yeah, well, when you say pro-military,
yes,
you mean like
the brotherhood of the military.
Well, when I hear pro-military, people are pro-send soldiers places. Like,
that's
so
insane.
They're like in support. Yeah, we love the army.
We love when guys other than me goes fight for us.
So when I hear pro-military, I'm like, so you mean like I'm basically finna go. And it was wild, man. I remember being at the airport working there when they did the Muslim ban. Like they were banning Muslims from coming to the country. And I was working in the ban. That was crazy. Yeah.
So you had your uniform on, fat gun, and you were at the airport.
Hey, listen, my man,
that's how
you can't come. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't come, and it was like, and you get cool with them. You get cool with the locals. Some of the locals, you know them. You know what I'm saying?
The Muslims.
Yeah, you know, and they talk to you, whatever. Like I don't talk about this, but I'm Muslim, so like work is like confusing. They be talking to me like, hey, sorry for like, hey, assalamu alaikum. Look, you can't go. But we just said, yeah, I heard what you said.
You can't go where?
You can't go to America. Like they're like, oh,
so
like,
that was when you were in the Middle East.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, you know, they get my paperwork straight. Like they coming to me, they like, oh man, I'm getting ready for America. I listened to that new 50 Cent. You can find me in the club, bottles full of bubble. Like, man, that was 2003.
Yeah, that is not new.
But you're on the right track, Mustafa. You're on the right track. You know what I'm saying?
And they were unaware that they weren't going to be able to fulfill whatever destiny. And
it was pretty bad.
What a guy like that, what was he thinking about America when he was like, has this grand vision?
So to my understanding, it's like a few things. People either see us very, very violent, or the land is, or it's the land of opportunity. So like over there, everybody knew New York. Oh, if you like, we from, like, if you say, well, where you from? Philly. Philly, it's close to New York. We love New York. And like, that's the easiest thing to say, close to New York. And they go, oh, okay, New York. We love New York. They ain't never been, but they love New York. They know New York. They know LA.
Yeah, they see the ball drop on TV.
Yeah,
they bug out.
Yeah, and they see
all those people are holding their pee. Maybe they have a diaper.
Yeah, so they love New York. So you know,
I'm sure they were devastated once they did all that work and then found out. What's the status right now? Can you talk about that if you're allowed to?
I mean,
I think
roll over here. Yeah, I think Muslims come over here now. Yeah, I don't remember all of it. I never used to like really. I get more into politics now, but back then I didn't. Only because like I didn't want to upset myself. Because no matter how I felt, I still had to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they were like, "Oh, I hate Trump." Like, you hate Trump? I'd be like, I mean, well, in actuality, he's my boss. It's like he actually, you know, So I kind of just didn't even like
touch it.
I didn't even allow myself to get so, you know.
Because it was wild when he was a president, man. It was like every day was a new episode of the reality show. I kind of miss it, but no, dude, dude, the amount of times Trump said something and I was like, is this guy fucking serious?
Yeah,
is this guy? It's just like many a times.
We like us soldiers. We used to be like, oh my god. All right, I guess we going.
Because anytime people would see soldiers, I'm sure they were like, "You support this man?"
Yeah, I'd be like,
"No, bro, like it's in my bank account."
Choice but to.
You gonna text him right now? You're like, I have no choice but to text him. His phone was out for everybody listening on audio. Yeah. So what was the best part
of the military?
Yeah, and how long were you in it exactly?
12 years.
How many?
12.
Bro,
I know, right?
God,
the best part.
It's like half your life at the time, almost.
Yeah, it's all my life, all my adult life. The best part, I would say the bonds that I've made, like, cause I've made some really great bonds. I made some really great memories. I made some really great friends. So I would say that's the best part. Yeah,
and they're all scattered all throughout the country, and maybe even some still deployed in the military.
I mean, you don't just stay deployed forever. You like go for a certain period of time and then you leave. I mean, yeah, I know some who still out there deploying, you know, more power to them. Like my boy, I got one in Chicago. I had just did Chicago earlier this year and he just let me crash at his spot.
Stand up. You did stand up there.
I did stand up at Chicago earlier this year. Yeah. And he let me crash at his crib. And then I had a gig on New Year's Eve. It was a private gig, but you know, they took care of that hotel, airfare, all that stuff. But so and it was like a comedy brunch thing. So after I did that, I told my boy like, yo, I'm gonna come to the crib and we just chilled at this crib for New Year's, whatever. So anytime I'm there, I see him and we deployed together. That's my dog. If I'm in like Texas, I got people that I used to
That's
stay.
great, dude. You got like family for the most
Yeah,
part in every state.
if I'm in Texas, if I'm in North Carolina,
Yeah.
if I'm in California, if you know, whatever, like Colorado,
Yeah.
like I got people.
Yeah, dude, it's like you went you went to sleepaway camp in every single one of those states, and like that's how tight you became with them. Like when I went to whatever it is, tennis camp in the past, like I was tight with those people because I spent every night with them. Only if it was for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I still like we had that bond.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I can only imagine you freaking going through hard shit every day with people.
That's probably the best part. It was, I mean, it was funny sometimes. Like it was funny that it wasn't funny. Like the worst stuff, we be laughing. We like this shit sucks. It sucks. So yeah, that probably was the best part.
Trauma bonding, I guess.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. There's a lot of therapy after that too. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah.
So what made you start doing comedy full time? And
full time, or what you made me start doing comedy? Because those are two different things. To do comedy full time, I got fired.
Okay, I think to not be in the army still. What was that? Trade-off.
Trayvon, the black man,
Yeah.
and Sergeant Fulton, the soldier, started to clash.
You would like Trayvon, the soldier, shouldn't be laughing at something like that.
Sergeant Fulton, the soldier, should not be. Now you good. I understand. I knew what you meant. Like Trayvon was not the soldier. Trayvon was the black man, and you know Sergeant Fulton was the soldier. So like one of the things, like when you swear in, when you like you have like I Trayvon Fulton solemnly swear to defend the people of the United States of America against enemy foreign and domestic. I will obey the orders of the President of the United States of America. Woo! With that line right there.
So it was a little bit of Trump.
Yeah, and I was like, and I will, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so, I mean, just some of the things that happen, you know, like, I mean, there's racism everywhere, you know, I'm not gonna have a victim mentality, you know what I'm saying? I understand, you know, yes, there's a work hard, there's a pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of mentality. There's that. Yes. There's some people that transcend race. You don't see race. You just see humans, all of that stuff. There's all of those things. And I'm aware, but I also am aware that these things do happen in the military. So due to that, I was tired of, there's a blueberry right there. Did you notice that?
No, where is it, bro?
Is
it under the cat? It's in the rug.
It's on the rug.
Yeah, I'm saving that for later.
Yeah,
that was
that's
from
cool.
last night. I dropped a few blueberries.
You got a little
and there you go. A little fruity zest in here.
Yeah, it might have a little twang to it. It might be good. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I saw the blueberry. It was all good.
Well, it's got to be something.
Yeah. So, we used to clash, man. It was kind of a thing like you weren't allowed to really have a personality in the military.
Would you say you're not allowed to have your own opinion? Maybe.
Of course. Yeah.
You are allowed to, or
no? You're not allowed to. Like if you think for yourself, the military is not for you.
Because it's group thinking.
Yeah, I mean, there was some things sometimes where like thinking for yourself does work. Like I'll see something and I'm like, we're gonna do it this way.
And also healing your ACL. That was a big part where it was just you.
That was a big part, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to explain it when I mean that Trayvon, the black man, and Sergeant Fulton, the soldier, clashed.
Well, I think you being a sergeant and a soldier, you saw like you had to have those blinders on the whole time for your whole life.
Yeah.
And then you yourself being like a funny, bubbly comedian guy who like wants to talk with people, tell jokes on stage, like that's not with the blinders on, man. You're like, yo, let me go do that. Let me go try this. Oh, this will be fun. Dope. Like this and that. Like,
yeah.
I can easily see how that happens.
Yeah. I mean, and even still, like when people meet me, they, like people don't get comedian from me. Like when they meet me, they be like, I didn't know you were a comedian. Like, I don't know. Like I'm not the, like, I am like a fun loving person, but only like in safe spaces. Like if like I'm like one or the other, if like I don't just like somebody, I love you. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the greatest person ever. Or it's like nothing. I've been doing like a lot. I've been doing people's podcasts and stuff lately, and it's weird. Like people are so fascinated with the military stuff, and like I'd be like, why? But I guess I get it because like it's something that people don't really, do. And I've been focusing more on military material too, like kind of like, yo, why don't I just talk about this? And that'll separate me. Like I know people who are in the military, but they never talk about it. And when I bring it up, they go, dude, oh my gosh. Last night, like 3 veterans, like, yo, from one veteran to another brother, like
in the crowd.
That was hilarious. Yeah. Like, yo, that was hilarious, bro.
Dude, yeah, I think that there's definitely a niche there that nobody has really fully filled, man. So dig into that, keep going, and everything that you can make a joke about. I think that you should, bro.
Hey man, I want to say to you, man, you are really doing a good job, man. Ted, I love the podcast, man, and from day one, like soon as I met Ted, right, it was the energy was infectious. Like I told y'all, the day I met him, it was. Yeah, I specifically remember that day.
When
that
we were
day,
on stage,
that day,
I yelled at you, he's vegan.
Yeah. I remember all that. That day was such a great, bittersweet day. It was so bittersweet. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Why bittersweet?
Why? So that was like I had just remember when I met you. I had just got out the military. If you remember that, like I was like fresh, like a week out.
The reason I remember Virginia was probably because it was mentioned like you had just come from Virginia, and then the Philly stuff all followed. So that's vaguely what I remember.
I was fresh out, right? And I was going through like the
first day out.
You know what I'm saying? I was going through like the roughest thing of my life. Like it was a breakup and divorce and stuff. Like it was like I was going through that, man, and it was rough. And that day was the day she had moved all her stuff out. And I remember going up there. She had moved all her stuff out, and she still makes sure, but like not all. There was still stuff there, like furniture stuff and some of her stuff, whatever. But she moved like clothes, and that was like the day. Was like this is the day. But I had the gig up there in New York.
So that was in Virginia. You were talking about, or
in Philly, and so because I got to Philly 2018, and so I'm like, but we still was cool. She was like, hey, did you at least make it? You cool up there? Did you eat you something, whatever. And I had met this, and I wasn't really like for like a whole year or so, right? I ain't like have sex, I ain't masturbate, I ain't do nothing. But I met this woman.
Well, T levels were probably up.
They were crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? Strong as it. I was in the gym heavy too, bro. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
That helps, man.
And I met this woman, right? And I remember this was like the first woman I've met since then. And I'll never, and it was such a great experience. I don't talk to her anymore, but I would never say anything negative. It was like the greatest experience. You know what I'm saying? I met this woman, and I was like, your boy's back, baby. I met her, and I remember when I came in, I said, wow. I was like, wow, because I was running late. I was like, wow, and she was like, okay. I was like, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm looking for Alex, and I told her my name.
Oh, at the show.
Yeah, she told me her name. I was like, wow. And she was like, here you go, a wow. So I'm like, what does that name mean? And we were just talking. We had the greatest conversation. And then afterwards, and I don't really go up and like approach women. I kind of just like, we have to meet in mutual spaces, especially like if you're pretty like,
guys, listen in 2024, listen to Trayvon right now, bro.
It's kind of like, I like to increase my kill ratio, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? So like,
you're in the army. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I just like, if they're really pretty, chances are they like have had so many people try to talk to them. And I feel like women deserve just to like, not being a pick me or nothing like that. Like, I feel like women deserve to just walk down the street or just do whatever they're doing without someone trying to like talk to them. Like, we can just go chill. Like, on my way here, nobody said, you know what I'm saying, yo, black jeans, I see that print from across the street.
Ass,
yeah, nobody said that, right? So like, women deserve just to do that too. So like, unless like I get cues, I just leave them alone. Like, and I feel like some people say, yo, you miss out on your opportunities, possibly, but like God know like who I am, and he's like, God's gonna be like, all right, he's gonna, the things that within my parameters, and like I'ma feel it. So, but we talking, great conversation, and afterwards I was like, I gotta get to know her. And so I'm like talking to myself. I'm like, okay,
she was a comic or audience member at the show?
Get yourself together. Nah, she wasn't a comic. We can talk off camera, but I'm not gonna say it on camera. So like, it's like, get yourself together, Trayvon. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, all right. And so then cause this is after the show. So I go ask, and they told me where she was, whatever. And I went, and I was like, hey, excuse me real quick. I'm sorry. And they look like, and you know, in New York, you don't come talk to nobody. I'm like, and I went back, hey, real quick. They're like, yeah. And I was like, my bad. And I'm like all nervous. And I'm like, yo, can we talk? Whatever. I just want to talk. And so we went upstairs. We talked, had the greatest time. And it was cool. So I just remember that day. There was so many things that happened, and I remember because I was feeling down. Like I just went through like the worst breakup ever. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, all right. But then I met her. Then I was like, oh, you know,
there are other fish out there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And that was something that I needed. And then my homeboy, my cousin, actually, I stayed at his spot in Jersey City. And I hung out with them. We went out and stuff like that. They made a joke. We was in Washington Heights, I believe, where all the Spanish people were or whatever. And they kept calling me Richmond Papi because we ordered food. And, you know, I'm vegan. So I'm like, dang, we went out afterwards. And I was like, I don't know what to order. And the dude ordered for me. He like patatas and tostones or something like that. And he was like, he ordered it for me. He's like, yo, put the, you know, and everything. So, and they was like, yo, it's for Richmond. And so they just called me Richmond. So when the guy came out, he was like, yo, Richmond Papi, Richmond Papi. So they was like, Richmond Papi. So everybody started calling me Richmond Papi. And thus Richmond Papi was born that day. And I sat on my cousin's couch. We were talking. And I was like, it was like a therapy session, man. I was like getting it all out. I sat on the couch, cried. He was like, it's all good, dog. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? So that weekend was just very influential to like, all right, this is who I am now. This is my new norm. It was kind of like a turning point. You know what I'm saying? So I remember vividly July 16th, 2021. Vividly remember, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah,
dude, for real, I'm grateful to be in that sphere of weekend, man, and meeting another vegan who's freaking fit and a guy who has done a lot of impressive shit in his life, man.
Appreciate you,
I will say it, dude. That's really, really super unique, and yeah, that's why I'm so fascinated about it. And everyone listening and watching, I'm sure we're super fascinated. You know, you never really hear about the fun everyone has in the military, and I think on a comedy level, like that'd be super dope, man. Okay, so keep doing that.
Ted, I appreciate you having me, man. You're killing it, man.
You're the man, dude. Thank you so much. You, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Trayvon, before we get out of here, we're going to pop up your Instagram. If there is anywhere that you're performing soon, or where can we check you out, please let us know.
Instagram is just my name. No, nothing. It's just Trayvon Fulton. Okay. Yeah, Trayvon Fulton. I'm at Punchline this Wednesday on the 10th. With my man Satoyo. Shout out to Satoyo. I'm at Punchline again in January with Eric Terrell. Comedy John every Monday in Philly. It's called the Comedy John. We do it at St. Lazarus Bar. Shout out to the Comedy John crew. And we do it every Monday, 9 o'clock. St. Lazarus Bar. That is where I am every Monday. If you want a place in Philly, come. It's free.
What a freaking episode. Ted Jones World. We'll see you next time. Peace.